if I'm honest. And I think we should focus our attention towards the Tank fight. You know, I think that's the biggest fight in American boxing.
I hope one day seeing Shakur against Tank.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, you and Canelo Alvarez were not on the same page last year. Now you are.
Shakur Stevenson's WBC lightweight title defense against Floyd Schofield has hit a major roadblock as Schofield has officially pulled out of the fight. Reports first surfaced through Ring magazine confirming his withdrawal after he failed to appear at Tuesday's grand arrivals in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Adding to the drama, Schofield's father and trainer made an unusual claim, prompting a swift response from Stevenson's co-manager.
He's a good young fighter, hungry fighter, but I hope he still take the fight. I mean, I'm kind of worried because he's not here. I was kind of excited to see him.
Do you have a message for him?
Now, Shakur Stevenson faces a tough choice in finding a last-minute replacement. Can't afford to pick an unknown opponent, as an easy win wouldn't boost his reputation. On the other hand, choosing a high-level fighter comes with the risk of not having enough time to prepare. It's a delicate balance, especially since Stevenson is pushing for bigger fights. He has been strongly linked to a potential unification bout with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Tank is set to defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st, with Davis planning to retire by the end of the year and aiming for 3 more big fights. He'll be looking for the most lucrative matchups.
And, you know, like I said, Saturday first, and then we'll go from there.
Just one on that, on the Tank fight. Are you confident that one can be delivered? Because I know Tank...
A fight against Shakur Stevenson is definitely a major option for Gervonta "Tank" Davis, even if Stevenson's boxing style doesn't have the same crossover appeal. Promoter Eddie Hearn is confident the fight can happen, as long as both sides have realistic expectations. However, everything hinges on Stevenson getting past his next fight, and with his opponent now uncertain, that adds another layer of unpredictability. If Tank is looking for the biggest fights, what other options does he have? He has a solid matchup coming up against Lamont Roach, but after that, he'll want high-profile bouts that bring in big money. According to Hearn, the biggest fight out there for both men is Stevenson versus Davis. At 27, Stevenson is actively pursuing that showdown, but first he must find a new opponent for his WBC lightweight title defense this Saturday in Riyadh, on the undercard of the Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev rematch.
So Turki Alalshikh, shall we say, are you confident it can be delivered, Tank versus Shakur?
Everyone's sensible. I mean, what other fights are there out for Tank? You know,
Gervonta "Tank" Davis, 30, has announced he plans to retire by the end of the year, but Shakur Stevenson remains confident that their long-awaited unification fight will happen. It's going to happen, Stevenson said. Tank mentioned my name on his list, so hopefully he sticks to his word and makes the fight happen. With Davis set to face Lamont Roach Jr. on March 1st at the iconic Barclays Center in New York, his return to the ring is now official. Fans are eagerly waiting to see what's next for him after the Roach fight, with several challengers ready to take on the undefeated champion.
it's a super featherweight that Tank will want to be in big fights. He'll want to make big money, and I think the biggest fight out there for him.
Turki Alalshikh, head of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, is eager to bring Gervonta "Tank" Davis into their growing boxing scene to help make some of the sport's biggest fights. Recently, ESPN's Mike Coppinger sat down with Alalshikh for an exclusive interview, which Ring magazine later shared on Instagram with the caption, "Turki Alalshikh speaks on potentially working with Gervonta "Tank" Davis." During this interview, Alalshikh expressed his desire to one day organize a fight between Davis and Shakur Stevenson. "I hope one day to see Shakur against Tank," he said. This statement surprised Coppinger, given the tension between Davis and Alalshikh. Just last month at Ring Magazine's awards gala in London, Davis went on a heated online rant after not receiving an invitation to the event.
Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson.
I want it, and I send message now from you to Heyman
Given their past tensions, Turki Alalshikh's invitation to Gervonta Tank Davis came as a bit of a surprise. This prompted Mike Coppinger to ask, so last year, you and Canelo Alvarez weren't on the same page. Now you're inviting Gervonta Davis. Alalshikh responded confidently, I don't take anything personally. I'm a professional. I don't need to like you to do business with you. Still intrigued, Coppinger followed up, but it seems like you appreciate Gervonta Davis's talent. To which Alalshikh, who also owns Ring Magazine, replied calmly,
Gervonta Davis, Shakur Stevenson.
I want him, and I send message now from you to Heyman.
He is a great fighter, of course. No doubt about that, but we need to see him in more big fights. Alalshikh stated, the Saudi royal, has made it clear that personal feelings won't stand in the way of making great fights, but he didn't hesitate to voice what many have been saying about Davis. When will he take on a true challenge? Will he move up in weight and seek a high-profile fight before retiring? The biggest fight in boxing could finally give Davis's fans what they've been waiting for, seeing him tested at the highest level. With a perfect 30-0 record, the Baltimore power puncher has proven his greatness. But the question remains, will he push his limits before calling it a career?
Right.
I don't need to like you to talk with you.
But you appreciate Gervonta Davis's talent, it seems.
As a fighter, he's a great fighter, of course.
Interestingly, Turki Alalshikh isn't the only one pushing for a showdown between Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Boxing legend Mike Tyson has also been a vocal supporter of the fight and has even picked his favorite to win. While Davis remains a hot topic in the boxing world, a lot of buzz is also building around Stevenson's upcoming WC lightweight title defense on February 22nd, though his new opponent is still to be determined. But for Stevenson, this fight is just a step toward a bigger goal, a clash with Tank Davis. At the Ring Magazine Awards Gala in London, Stevenson boldly called their potential matchup the biggest fight in the world. Later, in an interview with DAZN from Queensberry Promotions, Stevenson expressed frustration over what he sees as Davis sending mixed signals about making the fight happen.
Somewhere.
Don't get butterflies and pull out the fight, Floyd. I know it's a hard time. I know you're dealing with a lot, but just show up.
You've been tweeting about beating on him. You've been tweeting about vintage.
Despite believing their fight as the biggest one in boxing right now, Shakur Stevenson questioned whether Gervonta Davis actually wants it. I remember watching interviews where he said he was going to come get me, that I'm on his list. Then he turns around and says, what has Shakur done for boxing? Who is he? He seems very bipolar, Stevenson admitted. Even a few months ago, while speaking with Mays and Cameron Giles on their podcast It Is What It Is, Mike Tyson shared his thoughts on the potential matchup. He explained that Davis's aggressive fighting style would be the perfect test for Stevenson, pushing him to bring out his best inside the ring.
The main focus in training camp, I mean, how was your sparring and everything preparing for such a slick boxer like Shakur?
Wow, that's a good fight. I'd go with Tank. Everyone's going to pick Tank, but it would be a very interesting fight. Tank is just a monster right now, Mike Tyson said when asked about the potential showdown. However, Tyson didn't overlook Shakur Stevenson's abilities. On the same podcast, he praised Stevenson's defensive skills, saying, Shakur takes a good shot. He's a specialist. That's why some of his fights don't look exciting, because he's so superior it gets boring, but he knows exactly what he's doing. To bring out the best in Shakur, you have to pressure him like Tank would. Then we'd see a great fight. With His Excellency Turki Alalshikh actively pushing for the fight and Tyson backing it as well, the message is clear. The world is waiting for Gervonta Davis to step up and make his move.
Who will win out of Shakur and Gervonta?
Gervonta Davis?
Yeah.
I like to go with Tank. You know, everyone's gonna go with Tank, you know. It would be a very interesting fight. Shakur takes a good shot, though. He's a specialist. That's why some fights that he doesn't look good in, because he's so superior.
The 22-year-old Floyd Schofield, considered a major underdog against three-division champion Shakur Stevenson, was the only boxer on the main card to miss the pre-fight festivities at Kingdom Arena. His absence sparked speculation about his health and weight as he prepared for the biggest fight of his young career. A now-deleted post on Schofield's X page, believed to be run by his father and trainer, Floyd Schofield Sr., fueled further controversy. The post, shared just before noon ET on Tuesday, claimed, "They poisoned my son," alleging that a masseuse linked to Stevenson's team had applied a mysterious cream to him. The accusation was met with an immediate response from Stevenson's co-manager Josh Dubin. This fighter, Schofield, should get advised on defamation laws in our country, Dubin told Boxing Scene on Tuesday.
The main focus in training camp, I mean, how was your sparring and everything preparing for such a slick boxer like Shakur?
Dubin made it clear that false accusations against Shakur Stevenson would not go without consequences. Making statements that slander Shakur has legal repercussions, Dubin stated, claiming his food was poisoned won't be ignored. He emphasized that Floyd Schofield Sr.'s allegations might mislead people into believing there was some truth to them when, in reality, it appeared to be an excuse for his son's withdrawal. He's not going to fight, Dubin said just minutes before news of Schofield's withdrawal became official. We're not going to tolerate these lies, and either the Schofields or someone on their behalf needs to issue a public apology. Now, Dubin demanded. Meanwhile, officials in Saudi Arabia have yet to confirm whether a replacement fighter will be secured for Stevenson. The event remains stacked, featuring title fights in the heavyweight, light heavyweight, and middleweight divisions.
I just came up like it was the most best sparring that I got. That's my coach job. It's the sparring and everything.
Floyd Schofield appeared to be in good spirits on Monday while speaking with the media. In an interview with Fight Hub, he took shots at Shakur Stevenson, calling him a diva and even claiming that his 4-month-old son was more of a man than Stevenson. Golden Boy Promotions, which represents Schofield, has yet to respond to calls or messages regarding the situation. Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn, whose Matchroom Boxing promotes Stevenson, offered a different, less dramatic explanation for Schofield's absence. Hearn suggested that the issue could stem from a mandatory weight check conducted by the British Boxing Board of Control, which is overseeing the event. He noted that such early weigh-ins have caught other American fighters off guard in the past. All of a sudden, you have a fighter like Floyd Schofield who has to make a check weight tomorrow. He might want to train tonight, Hearn told IFL TV.
I'm sparring, sparring, very good quality, so I'm just ready to go, ready to showcase, what I worked on.
You feel like the pressure's more on Shakur?
Hearn continued, he really doesn't want to come to the grand arrival saying, "Hello everybody, he's getting ready for the weight check tomorrow. That's why I believe he's not here." Tonight. This wasn't the first time Floyd Schofield, who hails from Austin, Texas, had skipped a public event leading up to his showdown with fellow New Jersey native Shakur Stevenson. Last month, Schofield was also absent from the official press conference in London, which had already raised suspicions. At the time, Stevenson even suggested that Schofield might pull out of the fight, a prediction that now seems to have come true.
Obviously, you're the younger guy, the underdog. I mean, there's obviously most people expecting him to probably get the win. Do you think a lot of the pressure's...
Hearn continued, he really doesn't want to come to the grand arrivals, saying, "Hello everybody, he's getting ready for the weight check tomorrow. That's why I believe he's not here tonight." This wasn't the first time Floyd Schofield, who hails from Austin, Texas, had skipped a public event leading up to his showdown with fellow New Jersey native Shakur Stevenson. Last month, Schofield was also absent from the official press conference in London, which had already raised suspicions. At the time, Stevenson even suggested that Schofield might pull out of the fight, a prediction that now seems to have come true.
Experience. I'm ready to capture the moment. I'm focused. I put in a great training camp, and it's my time.
Last year was a tough year for you, just one fight at the hand.
This is yet another hurdle for Shakur Stevenson to overcome, as his Matchroom boxing debut has faced multiple setbacks. Initially, he was set to fight Joe Cordina last year, but a hand injury forced him to withdraw. After undergoing surgery, Stevenson was lined up to face his UBC mandatory challenger, William Zepeda, but the Mexican fighter also pulled out due to a hand injury of his own. Schofield was then given the opportunity to challenge for his first world title, entering the bout with an undefeated 18-0 record. However, the British Boxing Board of Control has now confirmed that Schofield has withdrawn due to illness, leaving Stevenson once again without a confirmed opponent.
How eager are you to get your career back on track?
I'm ready to show the world I'm a superstar. I think I'm one of the best fighters in the sport of boxing. The world will know February 22nd.
The Ring has learned that WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson is actively searching for a late replacement after Floyd Schofield fell ill and was pulled from the fight by the British Boxing Board. Of Control, according to a source. Two potential options being considered include Musa Golub and Josh Padley. The cancellation of the highly anticipated bout comes just days before the blockbuster card featuring Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, scheduled for Saturday night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The star-studded event, which boasts multiple world title fights, will now have one fewer after Stevenson vs. Schofield was called off. Schofield, 22, initially arrived in Saudi Arabia and participated in media duties on Monday, but by Tuesday he had disappeared from public events, including the grand arrivals, fueling speculation about his withdrawal.
People can expect on Saturday.
You said what?
What do you think people can expect on Saturday?
They can expect the best fighter to show out. That's what I'm gonna do.
Good luck, Shakur.
Gotcha.
Go, son.
A wild poisoning theory has been circulating online, suggesting that lightweight challenger Floyd Schofield may have been spiked. According to The Sun, leaked messages reportedly from Schofield's father, Floyd Schofield Sr., accuse unnamed individuals of poisoning his son. One leaked text allegedly sent to Schofield Sr. read, "This isn't something to take lightly, Senior. I'm not trying to play any games. I got love for y'all and looking out, but they spiked your son." Meanwhile, reports indicate that matchmakers are actively searching for a new opponent for Shakur Stevenson to face on fight night.
Vice versa.
Obviously, you got Beterbiev, Bivol, your man Dmitry, looking to right the wrongs of last time in a very close fight. He said to me he can't get this feeling out of his head. He can't stop thinking about that loss. Does that give you more confidence? Because when something's like stuck inside you.
Elsewhere on the stacked card, heavyweight contenders Daniel Dubois and Joseph Parker, along with light heavyweight Callum Smith, will all be in action. The event is being touted as potentially one of the greatest boxing cards of all time. However, the main spotlight will be on the highly anticipated rematch between Russian rivals Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. Beterbiev became the division's first undisputed champion since 2002 earlier this year, following a hard-fought victory over Bivol in their October clash. The first fight ended in controversy, with one judge scoring it a 114-114 draw, another awarding Beterbiev a narrow 115-113 win, and a third judge, Pavel Cardini, giving Beterbiev a wider 116-112 victory. The latter scorecard sparked outrage from Bivol's camp, adding even more intensity to their upcoming rematch.
It's something you want to right the wrong of.
Dimitri's a winner, you know, he's a perfectionist. It's the first time he suffered defeat. We feel like he should have won the fight. It's over now. It's going to be a very tough night's work for him again.
Promoter Eddie Hearn slammed the judging as an absolute joke, insisting that his undefeated fighter Dmitry Bivol had been robbed. Even if Judge Pavel Cardini had scored the fight closer, Bivol would have still lost, but Hearn believes the wide 116-112 card was unjustifiable. Bivol's manager, Vadim Kornilov, echoed the frustration, telling Box Nation, "We're going to file a protest on Monday." The judge has to take some kind of responsibility for what he did. This kind of scoring is becoming very destructive to the sport. He also criticized the broader system, suggesting corruption within boxing's governing bodies. These organizations and sanctioning bodies have supervisors, and the supervisors are friendly with the judges. They're hugging the promoters. It's beginning to look like a scheme.
And I believe he'll win again on Saturday. But I feel like, you know, it's just got to go his way. You know it's going to be a close fight. They're two unbelievable fighters, but
On the other hand, the real issue for Shakur Stevenson is that Gervonta Davis has announced his plans to retire by the end of the year. Fans and analysts, including Paulie Malignaggi, are hoping Davis makes his final 12 months in the sport count. However, Stevenson has unexpectedly shifted his stance on Davis's retirement, raising questions about whether he believes the undefeated star will actually step away, or if this is just another strategic move in the ongoing negotiations for a potential blockbuster fight.
But you know what? You would give it a Nile River crocodile or alligator, and when I confuse alligators and crocodiles, but whatever. Give it a Nile River alligator. In
December, WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis shocked fans by announcing his plans to retire after 2025, citing frustrations with boxing politics as a key reason. Davis confirmed his dissatisfaction with the sport and reiterated that he intends to step away following his next fight on March 1st, 2025, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. There, he will defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont. Roach Jr. originally scheduled for December in Houston, the bout was postponed for undisclosed reasons. This fight could be one of Davis's last opportunities to cement his dominance in the lightweight division before walking away from the sport.
All right, bro, you know, you got me interested. You're like, all right, bro, let's see who wins this. You know what I mean? It's they fight, you know, obviously we're not fighting to the death in boxing, but nonetheless, intrigue me.
Gervonta Davis's decision to retire at the peak of his career has sent shockwaves through the boxing world, sparking mixed reactions. While some criticize his choice to step away in his prime, Davis remains one of the most charismatic and polarizing figures in modern boxing. Known for his aggressive fighting style and devastating knockout power, he has firmly cemented himself among the sport's elite. As his retirement nears, discussions about the legacy he will leave behind are sure to dominate conversations in the boxing community in the coming months.
Into chasing people around, I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen, but I ain't gonna lie, I can't sit there and chase you and then...
Shakur Stevenson didn't hold back when addressing Gervonta Davis's retirement plans, telling Fight Hub TV, "If he wants to retire with the career that he got, then go ahead and do whatever you got to do. I disagree with it. I think it's soft, but that's on him." Despite his frustration, Stevenson made it clear that he won't chase the fight, stating, "I ain't gonna lie, I ain't into chasing people around. If he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight. I think it should happen, but I can't sit there and chase you, and then he's gonna try to make it seem like I need him. I don't need him." If Davis retires without facing Stevenson, boxing will lose out on one of the most highly anticipated lightweight clashes in decades.
Very skilled and also very experienced at this point now. He's fought and seen pretty much every style there is, and his power is.
Speaking to Fight Hype, Paulie Malignaggi didn't hold back in criticizing Gervonta Davis's choice of opponents. He questioned Davis's decision to face Lamont Roach, a super featherweight champion moving up in weight for the March bout. Lamont Roach, if he'd made 4 or 5 defenses at 135, you'd be selling me a little bit. I'd be curious, but no, you're just recycling the same champion, Malignaggi said, expressing his dismay at what he perceives as Davis picking easier fights. What do you think? Is Davis making smart business moves, or is he avoiding tougher competition?